Welcome to the first meeting of the 2018-2019 ASHRAE OVC program year. We are an organization that is entirely built on the efforts of volunteers at the chapter level, the regional level, as well as the society level. And none of this would be possible without volunteers. So I'd like to give a big thank you to everybody that has contributed to that. So looking ahead for this year, realistically we're going to be having the program meetings that everybody is used to, the third Tuesday of every month, save for December because we get excited about taking some time off in December. We are also working to set up some high quality, valuable seminars, both in the fall as well as the spring. And we're really looking forward, we're working hard to put something together that everybody is going to benefit from. Thank you for coming, thank you for being here. To start, I would like to introduce the executive and the Board of Governors. So on the Board of Governors, we have Jacob Huff, Chris Crawley, Celine Baribeau, Peter Shawwood, Joe Del Val, and then on the executive, we have Adrienne Matani, Adam Moons, Aaron Dobson, and then myself as the president. Adam Graham is our past president, so he's here too, so we'll all stand up. I would like to just very quickly again, focusing on membership tonight and focusing on volunteers. Again, this organization would be nowhere without the help of the volunteers. We have a number of committee chairs that are working very hard to go through them. We have, looking after attendance, financial, and publicity, we have Sandy Taylor. Audit, as well as honors and awards, Abby Saunders. Community pay, Evans Winslow. CTTC, Jacob Huff. GAC, Adam Moons. Now GAC used to be called GGAC, but we've rebranded and that's just the Government Affairs Committee. History as well as website, Ryan Dickinson. Membership promotion, Andrew Brown. Nominations, Steve Moons. EAOE as well as research promotion, Aaron Dobson. Program chair, James Patty. Roster, George Bomari. Student activities, Elizabeth Primo. Tabletop, David Michelin. And YAY, Young Engineers in ASHRAE, Jordan Hanson. So thank you very much everybody for coming, and I would now like to call upon Adrienne Matani to introduce the guests.
The guests this evening are Zach Messier, Natalie Sperrier, Susan Savage, Imran Abraham, and Victor DeVoe. And I'm sorry if I butchered up your names. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And then I'm going to call Andrew Brown to come up to welcome new members as well as to talk a little bit about the theme tonight, which is membership promotion.
Good evening, everybody. For those of you that have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Andrew Brown, and this year I'll be representing the Ottawa-Valley as the membership promotion chair. Sorry. This role is a new step for me, but I'm no stranger to ASHRAE. When I started in the industry, I was fresh out of school and only had a handful of contacts. Today, I have a large network of industry experts and professionals, and I can honestly say that this would not be possible without the support of a professional society like ASHRAE. This year, I attended the CRC in Windsor. For those of you that don't know what the CRC is, to put it simply, it's the betterment of ASHRAE both technically and socially. While at the meeting, I was asked why ASHRAE. As I've already mentioned, ASHRAE is a great place to network. It's also a great source of accredited information and updates for codes and standards that we all use. I'm sure most of you have the wonderful ASHRAE booklets at an arm's reach at any given time. ASHRAE is also a great place for personal growth. Case in point, me speaking for you here tonight. But above all, it's a great way to give back to the community. So these are the reasons that I get involved. If I could leave you with any homework here today, I would ask that you think about why you come out to the meetings and share this insight with a colleague and a friend in the industry who may be new to the industry or just may have not come out to one of the events. In addition to introducing chapter members this year, I plan on sending you and also discussing helpful tips regarding membership. Next month, I'll jump in by informing you how memberships go from associates to full members, which many of you may actually be obliged with. Tonight's meeting, as you know, is titled How You Can Get Involved. And we have a great speaker in Eric Binder tonight. I don't want to steal Eric's thunder, so I won't dive in. But as you will hear shortly, there are many opportunities to get involved with varying capacities. And if you have any questions on anything you hear tonight, feel free to please approach me and I'll point you in the right direction. So changing gears, I would like to introduce our new members. So please, I do apologize if I mispronounce your name. We'll start by Rick Berube, Jeffrey Templeton, John Mangione, Clinton Agrieski, Hema Murdy, Thomas Hinkey, Sean Pattymore, Natalie Irwin, Graham Howes, Thomas Manser, Tripath Singh, Matthew Latouche, Maria Luca, Ahmed Hamel, Trevor Scott, John Duquette, and Brendan Fowles. Thank you very much for your time.
So next we're going to talk about research promotion, and before I call upon Aaron to come up and talk about this year, I'd just like to thank everybody for the resounding success that we had with the research promotion campaign last year. The Ottawa-Valley chapter successfully raised more than 220% of our RP goal. We set a record, and it wouldn't have been possible without all of you, so thank you very much.
So the role of the president-elect is to be RP chair, and it's some pretty small shoes to fill from Dan's successful year, and from Adam's successful year before that. They've raised a lot of money for research promotion. Just to put things into scale, the amount of money that the Ottawa chapter has raised is basically the top 3 in like all the chapters for ASHRAE. Just to put that into perspective in terms of research promotion. A lot of that money had to do with the scholarship money that we had put into our local chapter. So next year we'll be giving out a scholarship to a student in this chapter. For this year, after attending the centralized training, our research goal is $35,000. So that's basically the campaign. A lot of the money that is raised for research is basically from the raffles that we're doing today. That takes a big chunk. A lot of the golf tournaments, the Bonspiel, a lot of the events we do throughout the year raises money towards ASHRAE research. And so the money that is raised for ASHRAE research, it stays within this region. And it's not necessarily ASHRAE research. The money does go towards scholarships. It does go towards endowment funds. It goes to ASHRAE learning institutes. So it's not just about ASHRAE research. It goes to a lot of different things within our ASHRAE community. So that money basically stays within our region. And so the money that does go towards ASHRAE research, society basically contributes more, almost like a 4-to-1 ratio. So last year, like Dan mentioned, over $200,000 was raised in this region. Almost $1 million was basically put in from society into this region for local research. So a lot of that, you go to our website, you can see the research that is currently going on right now. There's research that's in progress. So when we do have our meeting after Christmas, and we do talk about research, we will have some of the research candidates here to talk about some of the projects that they are working on. So one thing I want to do is, since we're in week 1, there are people who have donated to the research promotion campaign, so we want to thank them. We don't have any names up right now, but we will shortly. So thank you for that. I will be assembling a team of people to basically solicit research promotion, which we have done in the past. So please, if we do call you, please contribute what you can. There's a lot of companies that do contribute a lot of money to get recognition for that. And some of the things they can do, they can set endowment funds, they can kind of earmark the research to specific research projects that are going on. It doesn't have to go to a general fund. If they want to fund a certain research project that's going on in this region, they can help fund that research project. So it's not just the amount of money that you're donating just for a blanket cause. You can actually fund that to a specific project that is basically near and dear to your heart. So one of the things that's going to happen in the next few months is the RP Appreciation Night for last year, which basically is to recognize all of our donors that contributed to Dan's campaign and made it so successful. And we'll have that night. It'll be published in the next communique, which night that's going to be, whether the October or November meeting. So we'll have that. And yeah, so a lot more information will be brought out for RP. Some of the events that are happening on to raise money for RP, which will be communicated in the next communique. And without further ado, we are raising money tonight for our research. The draw is for 4 red-black tickets for October 10th against Winnipeg. They are club level seats in the north stands. So field level seats includes food. We've raised a lot of money so far, so if anybody hasn't donated tickets, please see me. And if you do want to donate, you can donate directly to the chapter or you can donate online. You'll see all the various options. And if you do have questions, please send me an email. My contact information is on the website. Thank you.
I've heard that the food at the club level seats is amazing. I haven't partaken in it, but apparently it is just out of this world. So, if you have any questions about the food, just talk to Victor DeVoe. He's the guest. Victor, can you put up your hand? Yeah, the guest with his hand up. Oh, and Victor, thank you very much. You sponsored 3 students tonight.
Yeah, absolutely,
So,
no problem.
I'm going on. But while I'm giving Victor a hard time, I would like to actually say that the donations that we put towards students, to encourage students to come out to these events, is fantastic. And I mean, to be able to have these donations, to get them here, to get them exposed to our industry, this is the future of tomorrow. So thank you very much, Victor.
Shouldn't we have the students come up and give a little thank you themselves?
Next month. Actually, but you know what, to not put the students on the spot, could I actually just have the students to put their hands up?
Yeah.
I'd just like to say thank you for coming, and thank you everybody for supporting the students. I'd like to call upon Jordan Hansen to come up and talk about the Young Engineers and ASHRAE program.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jordan Hansen. I'm going to be the Young Engineers and ASHRAE Committee Chair this year. So what Young Engineers and ASHRAE is, we try to form a community of engineers, 35 years younger. But if you're over 35, feel free to come out to any of the events. We just want to create a community so that people have a friendly face. Get them out to an event, and we bring them in, maybe get them out to a meeting after that. So we organize a few social events throughout the year. I want to introduce a couple of technical tours this year as well. Our first social event is going to be October 19th. We're going to go to the Ottawa Red Blacks game against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So we'll look for that event coming out shortly.
We did mention that anybody is welcome at the GA events. think it's a common misconception that it's only for the young engineers in ASHRAE, but there's a lot of benefit to the young engineers in ASHRAE if we all attend also. I would now like to call upon Joe Del Valle to come up and talk about the September Stroke Play Golf Tournament.
Hi everyone. We've had a great success in getting registration for the tournament this Friday. It's completely sold out. So we have 24 people from the chapter and around there coming out. If you are on the registration, I'll be sending out an update as to when we'll tee off, probably tomorrow afternoon once I get a few final names. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who has put in their participation, and Steve Moons, thank you very much for teaching me the ways of stroke play. Going forward, hopefully this will be an event that I can carry on for a while. Thank you.
So before we get into dinner, I have one final thing that I would like to get into, and basically we've all had a fun summer. We've taken the summer off, but I mean ASHRAE has continued. There were a few things that happened over the summer, and I would just like to take a moment to recognize those. So we do have with us the Society President-elect, Mr. Daryl Boyce, and I'd like to call upon Daryl to come up here and help me to present some awards that were presented to people within our chapter at both the annual meeting in Houston in June, as well as the CRC in Windsor in August.
One of the things that we try to do as a volunteer organization is recognize the efforts of our volunteers. And there are some awards at the society level, there's awards at the regional level, this chapter has been quite successful in this area. So first of all, there's the William J. Collins RP Award, and this is a society level award for outstanding work in raising funds for the research promotion campaign, which now has been expanded into educational programs and scholarships. Anyway, recognized chapter art teacher within society who excels in the activities supporting ASHRAE's fundraising campaign, including promoting research chapter level raising money for scholarships and all of the society activities. And so the winner of this, the recipient of this award for this international sort of inter-society international award is Adam Graham. Well done, Adam. And so then we move on to the chapter's regional conference, the CRC, and the Presidential Award of Excellence is given out to chapters at the CRC. And Adam was the recipient of the Presidential Award of Excellence with Special Citation, presented for significant improvement in membership, attendance, research promotion, education, chapter programs, and technology during this year as the Ottawa-Valley chapter president.
And thank you everyone who donated. Like, it was all the people before me for sure that made it possible. So thank you.
Category of awards for chapter service that are presented at the chapter regional conference. As presented for chapter members who dedicated service as representatives of the Ottawa-Valley chapter in the advancement of the arts and sciences, heating, refrigeration, and air conditioning. And we have two recipients of this award. The first is Chris Crawley. 2 of these awards, and the second one is George Memorial. Again, these are well-deserved awards, and thank you all for your contribution to our society.
Thank you very much, Daryl, and thank you very much, everybody, for being here, for contributing, and continuing to keep our chapter strong and vibrant. With that, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let people eat, and in a little while, I'm going to disturb you again, and we'll go from there. Thank you. We're going to do the RP raffle. Is there anybody in the audience who has not yet seen Aaron to give him some money?
How could you miss him? 6'5".
Are you 6'5"?
Yeah.
He is 6'5".
It's confirmed.
So when you come up, I'm going to move away, or people are going to think I'm short. No, so I'm going to turn it over to Aaron.
We raised $580. Let's get Daryl. Daryl can draw the lucky ticket. You go ahead.
Pick the one that's stuck to your finger.
So the winning ticket is 842.
Oh, yeah.
238. No, actually, sorry, 2328.
No.
842-2328.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, check that.
So one thing we do have, we have a bonus prize.
Bonus prize.
For those of you guys who want to join Joe to this Red Blacks game in the club seats, there's 4 additional tickets behind where Joe's sitting. So it's field level, all the food's included, it's a great experience. So the great thing is the chapter, we can basically send you an invoice. If you own a business or you work for a company, we can send you an invoice. Face value is $250, so I'll give it to the first person that offers $250 for the 4 tickets going to ASHRAE. We got Adam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aaron, and thank you very much, everybody, for continuing to support this promotion. So dinner should be up pretty soon, and shortly after that, we will get going with the program top of the evening. Thank you. Okay, everybody. So I hope everybody has enjoyed dinner or is currently watching dinner. But we would like to keep the night rolling, and so without further ado, we are going to move into the program part of the evening. So our speaker tonight is Mr. Eric Finder. Eric is a DL who comes to us from Calgary. So he's familiar with Canada, he's familiar with what we face. And his program is really focused on how you can get involved in ASHRAE. So ASHRAE is looking to leaders amongst all of us to get engaged, to really carry that torch, to really be part of ASHRAE, to make it something more. Eric has been heavily involved with ASHRAE for many, many years. I think earlier Eric was in 45 years. So he's seen many, many levels of ASHRAE. He's been part of the board of directors. I have a list here. I have a long list. So Eric is a society director at large. He was the past society director and regional chair. He was chairman of the ASHRAE Cold Climate Design Conference. He was co-author of the ASHRAE Cold Climate Building Design Guide. He He was co-author of the ASHRAE Hazardous Spaces Design Guide. Also, author of the Industrial HVAC Design Guide. Past coordinator of the ASHRAE Distinguished Lecturer Program. He's the board EXO, part of the Young Engineers in ASHRAE Committee, part of the ASHRAE Student Activities Committee, part of the ASHRAE Members Council Vice Chairman, ASHRAE Development Committee. He has served as chairman of ASHRAE Audit Committee member, ASHRAE TC 5.8 Industrial, also ventilation, minus TC 9.2 as a member, ASHRAE TC 9.2 Industrial Air Conditioning, chairman of ASHRAE TRG 9 CCDDG. Whole time. ASHRAE has a lot of acronyms for those of you who are just starting to dive into ASHRAE. He's also a member of the ASHRAE MTG, which is a multidisciplinary task group for ACR Air Clean Grades. And finally, he's the chairman of the Chelonian Loss Prevention Engineering Seminar. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Eric to teach us how to get more involved. Thank you.
So I think one of the first things I can tell you how to get involved is do what I do, become a distinguished lecturer. If you have a topic that you think that you could, present and others in the industry around the world would be interested in listening to you talk, then it's a great opportunity to get to know people around the world. You can do a little bit of travel. You probably get double what I make, which is nothing. But you get some great experiences for sure. So one thing that ASHRAE does is it provides you with a lot of opportunities, and they're there for you to take. And in some cases, and probably in a lot of cases, there's probably a lot of opportunities that you might even come up with on your own and take ASHRAE there with you. So, and I've done that in the past too. So now the Distinguished Lecture Program, it's sponsored by the Chapter Technology Transfer Group Committee, and it's very strong. I think there's about 90 of us that travel around and talk about a lot of different things. So if you aren't interested in doing it now, just keep it in mind. Maybe sometime in the future it would be a great opportunity. So ASHRAE, get involved, find your passion. I mean, when I first got involved with ASHRAE, I was a student, and I didn't really know what I was going to get into, but I kind of, through osmosis, I got into, an HVAC program, right? And first of all, how many people here actually got into the HVAC industry on purpose? Okay, we probably got about third, maybe. So ASHRAE, HVAC is one of the industries that you kind of come through osmosis. There aren't too many HVAC engineering schools out there, or what have you. So you kind of come through osmosis, but that's not a bad thing, because it's a great thing. I think, because the amount of people I've known that got into this industry through osmosis and still here and love it, it's really, really spectacular. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. So the best thing to do is get involved, and volunteer. That's probably the best thing you could possibly do. And one thing about ASHRAE, it lets you get involved. ASHRAE is a society of volunteers. That's all we are. We're all volunteers. We've got a staff of 105 people, maybe more, but they work for us, right? We're not working for anybody. They're working for us. And if we want something to happen, they're the ones that are going to make it happen, or be involved with it. But they work for us. We're all volunteers. We're driving things in our industry. And we help develop the technology that enables high performance for the life of the buildings and systems. And as an individual, by volunteering, you can be better prepared and be more marketable for the growing industry, right? For the things you learn from ASHRAE. And what do I get out of volunteering? The friends that I've made, the contacts that I've made, the information that I have. Our industry is a huge industry. I cannot know everything. I've been in the industry 45 years, and I still can't. I've learned a lot of stuff. There's still a lot of stuff out there that I'm not very good at. Certain areas I'm not very good at. But the good thing is I have so many friends in ASHRAE that one of them will get me in the right direction if I need that. So that's probably the biggest thing that I get out of ASHRAE is the technical knowledge, but also the people that know that have the technical knowledge as well. So the more specific later. And by volunteering, you gain direct access to the new technology. Through the contacts you make, the information that we have, ASHRAE has tons and tons of information that as a member you get discount or in some cases free access to some great material. And the other thing too is you can influence the direction of the industry. Right? You really, really can. You know what? As I mentioned earlier, I got involved with the School Climate Conference. I was asked to do it. Never put a conference on in my life. I had 250, 300 people come from around the world to the School Climate Conference, and then we decided to write a book after it. And my grade 9 English teacher would have rolled over. She wasn't already dead. She rolled over to die. She found out I was involved to write the book. So the things that ASHRAE makes you do is pretty amazing sometimes. The other thing too, it gives you opportunities to pick up on your soft skills and get more involved in the business side of things, and exposes you to areas you wouldn't normally even dream of in your normal day-to-day business activities. So a quick overview for those, how many people here are fairly new to ASHRAE within about a year or two? We got a few here. So some of this stuff might be, maybe not, you might have I'll go through it pretty quickly. You probably have a bit of an understanding. So obviously our standards, our research, which we made some money tonight. ASHRAE is second to none as far as research in the industry. And we just put in $6 million worth of research into refrigerants because the phase out of the 8 CFC refrigerants. So ASHRAE is putting in all kinds of research there to figure out how we're going to handle the new replacements, which are in most cases are explosive or volatile. And you want some guy with a cigarette and hanging on his mouth, changing propane into putting new propane into his air conditioner. Right? So all that kind of stuff. And the other thing too is how does those new refrigerants work in the existing systems and with the seals and the oils and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's not just an easy, well, we're going to change the direction, we're going to replace refrigerants and away we go. There's a lot of thought that has to go behind it. So who are we? We're in that 50, the number keeps changing, but we're in that 57, 58,000 range. Students, 6,000 and growing rapidly. But ASHRAE Student Activities Program is just jumping leaps and bounds. I was involved with it for 3 years, the last 3 years, and I couldn't believe the amount of new chapters that we have and the amount of young people that want to get into our industry. And the A members, that's the young engineers under 35. 10, 15 years ago, we were a bunch of old farts like me, gray hair, fat, kind of white, sitting around like a blob. And we were saying, hey, our industry's got to change, we've got to change. We started the A program, and since then, well, look at tonight. I mean, there's probably just a handful of us here that are in the older sector. You guys are the future. This is the future, is right here. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job. You got great enthusiasm, and that's what we like to see. And you guys are going to be driving the industry. You guys, right here in this room, in Ottawa, in this area, and beyond, because it's becoming a small world. And you can see here we're in 130 countries. So 130 countries, and a lot of those countries are just craving information from the HVAC industry, from ASHRAE, and from individuals that are ASHRAE members. And there's 15 regions around the world. So like our region here, you guys are in region 2. There's 14 other regions throughout the world. They actually have, meetings just like we are here. The cultures are a little bit different. I've been to a few around the world. And even across, if you go to my chapter, and my meeting is going to be a little bit different here, the flavor of your meeting here. And but it's not good and bad. It's just the way it is, and it's great to see. And one of the reasons that we have meetings for chapter regional conferences once a year, and that's to kind of learn the good, the bad, the ugly from each chapter, make ASHRAE better and ourselves better. And the other thing, 283 chapters throughout the world, 269 student branches. I think it's up to 273. I didn't get the chance to update the slide here. That's always growing. So, and our backgrounds, we're really varied backgrounds. We have people here too that some of the members of ASHRAE. I got a buddy of mine. He's actually in the glass business, but he thinks that ASHRAE is a good thing to be involved with. We do a lot of work with with glass glazing and that type of thing. So he comes up to some of the ASHRAE meetings as well. So it's beyond just our HVAC industry. It's the whole building industry and even beyond. Indoor air quality is everything. I have a friend that does nothing specialized only in indoor air quality stuff. He spends a ton of time with ASHRAE. So, and what does ASHRAE do, right? Obviously, lots of technical information. We create a lot of standards, technical guidelines, continuing education. I don't think anybody else in the world has as much educational materials as ASHRAE. We have a phenomenal one. And I really, really think that somewhere down in the near future, I'd like to see the University of ASHRAE be international, so that you can go to any university in the world, and you want to take HVAC, 70% of that course is ASHRAE material. The other 30% is the material that you get for your maths and your sciences, and how to be a good project manager and all that kind of stuff. But have the bulk of it ASHRAE, and we actually have most of that information already available. The other one too, I can't tell you enough how good a networking tool ASHRAE really is. Now, one thing that I think that might happen from being my age and being involved with ASHRAE since I was a student, and most of it was face-to-face meetings like this, I'm sure that with all the new technology that's happening out there, if you can find a way to network and do it through technology, I think it's a great opportunity, whether it's texting and all that kind of stuff as well. But I think it's still nice to have some face-to-face time because, but for sure, any way you can find a network is a really, really good thing in this industry. So, what makes us different? So, for one thing, there's a lot of other societies around the world that are HVAC related. Most of them are just country specific, but we're global, and our global population is expanding rapidly. South America, India, and Pakistan, China, Asia, we're just booming, and the future is global, and the global part is it's getting small. The world is small, and we've got friends now all around the world. Daryl and I have traveled quite a bit, and we all have the same issues, same concerns with the industry and just life in general. And it's great to see how we can all combine and work well together. We have members in certain countries that can't go across each other's border to visit, but they come to an ASHRAE meeting and they're best of friends, right? And they work together on committees and everything else. So we're kind of beyond the political side of things. And one of the things, we have a large publishing program. Now, has anybody here submitted an article or anything to any of the ASHRAE publications? Any of the journals? See a hand up there, that's great. You're allowed to, if there's a project you just completed it, or if there's something new and exciting that you're working on, don't be afraid to submit an article into the fundamentals, it's not the fundamentals, the monthly newsletters that we have, and there's a high performance building book, all that kind of stuff. There's some great opportunities there to get involved. And one of the ASHRAE's vision is for ASHRAE to be a global leader, and we're getting very, very close. A lot of people are coming to ASHRAE to get our technology and our enthusiasm. Our setup is very, very unique. Most of the other organizations, civil organizations around the world are not. They don't have the volunteer base that we do. We have such a great volunteer base. Everybody are very envious of our setup. And the other thing that they like is our collaboration, how well we work together. And it's pretty spectacular. Really should. And even here, you can see here the committees you guys have here at this level, at the chapter here tonight, all the people that are involved. It's great. And the nice thing about that is you get to start working with people, and you see how they are working at ASHRAE, and you got a committee together to get things done and everything else, working on a project together later on. You know you can trust that individual, you'll let them run with what they have to do, and it makes your projects get better as well. And guess who wins in the long run? The client. And the client is the ultimate reason we're all here. So I'm not sure what the slide here. Oh, so this is the ASHRAE Society Alliance. So ASHRAE started in 1962, we started getting together with other like-minded or similar organizations around the world. There's 65 members currently, and right now what we're really trying to do is get all 65 working together and making us the go-to group on anything having to do with the arts and sciences of HVAC and art. And we've made some great strides with that. The other thing that we're doing is we're working with UNEP, which is the United Nations Environmental Protection Group, and we've been doing a lot of work with them lately. We're on that refrigerant topic we were talking about earlier with the phase out. Well, ASHRAE's put together some courses that we're always looking for people to put on those courses as well, is to travel around to some of the emerging countries and provide that training. If you have that same training here in Canada, it's pretty easy. You go to the refrigeration mechanics. Each province pretty well has their own certification. So if you need any changes to the work, what have you, you just go right to the individual province and get that done. But you try to get that done in an emergency economy somewhere where there's no certification of any kind. Anybody can be working on anything. So we're trying to provide some training for that as well. Now, here's the structure. This is probably a little small for some of you to see, but this is ASHRAE. This is what you kind of normally see, and you go, holy crap, there's a lot of committees, a lot of groups and councils and what have you. So, pretty heavy duty. I'm not going to get into it too much, but there are lots of, I'll touch base a little bit more further down on some of them. The big one, obviously, in the middle is the board of directors, and Daryl's going to be the top of that one for another year or so. But lots of people reporting to those individuals and to all the different councils as well. Now, I could be talking to you about ASHRAE structure and how to get involved for probably about another 3 days, but I'm just going to try and touch on some of the passions that I have and some of the areas I think would be good to get into. So, get involved at the chapter level. Now, I'm great. I see that already. There is a lot of participation here. I'm also glad to see a lot of young people here. That's really good. If you aren't sure exactly how much time you have, whatever, just get on a committee and kind of help out. Right? Show up once a month if you can at these meetings. Maybe help out the membership group or help out the research guys or whatever, that type of thing. It doesn't take too much, and then before you know it, you're going to get involved in other areas. And other areas that you might want to get involved in too is some of the social activities, like you mentioned, the golf or curling and that type of thing. And some of those are just short little spurts, so if you haven't got a lot of time to put in, put it into that as well. The other thing by coming up to these chapter sessions is that you get a really good idea of who else is in the industry, get to know who you're going to be quoting, providing estimates to, who's doing the engineering on your project, who's going to be building your project, that type of thing. It's really great to get a closer look at how they actually operate as well, out of the office type atmosphere. So here's some chapter involvement opportunities. I think most of these ones are pretty straightforward, and some of the committees that you can be on. Lots of opportunities on to get involved. And you don't have to chair the committee. You can just be just to help out wherever it's needed. And I'm not going to get into all of them, but one of the things, do you guys have a nomination committee, like a standard one, or is it, how do you work with nominations? You do? Okay. So nominations, ASHRAE is a lot about nominations. So if I don't know that, right, that Daryl, wanted to get involved with, the upper level of ASHRAE, right? Nobody would have put his name forward. He probably might not have never got there. But now he's going to be the top guy in ASHRAE here in the year. But so the nomination committee is very critical, and so having one at the chapter level is good to bring people, into the chapter area. Also to promote people up into the regional side and beyond. But the other thing too is that ASHRAE has a lot of other committees that we're always trying to fill good positions with good people. And if you talk to the nomination, you're not local nomination person, and say you have an interest in a certain area, we'll do our best job as ASHRAE to get you into that area. So some of the other activities that you can do, here's some of the ones that I've been involved with. So tours, I set up a few tours. Tours are easy, right? if you got a project that you're just finished up and it's a little bit unique or something special, don't be afraid to say, hey, I'll host the tour or I'll organize it. This one here, it's a camp table. It's a camp for kids with cancer in Calgary. And next weekend, we're going there and putting a new furnace system in. The building there and houses the nurses that provide the chemo treatments at the camp. Well, the kids are at the camp, they still get the chemo treatments and they still participate. So we're putting in a new HVAC system there. You know, it's just, you can either get involved with providing the equipment and raising the funds to do that, or you can show up that day and be a grunt. You know, not a problem. So lots of good opportunities with whatever you do. Here's another project that I was involved with. This is University of Calgary and the State Technical Institute put together a solar house for the solar decathlon, and it's got a unique facility. The whole thing was made from natural product. The state students actually constructed it. The university did all the engineering, and all the artwork came from the College of Art, and all the art was green art, so it's kind of a little unique. So some great opportunities. Here's our Calgary Spark Center, which has got, we've put some programs in through there. It's the Science Center for Calgary, and we put some HVAC programs into there, so you can do that kind of thing. Curling, you know, I know you guys have a curling responsibility. We have the John Ross out in our region, and that was the winners from last year. They don't look too good, but they're okay. And obviously, and even tours, you can do some tours that are fun, like like a brewery tour, that type of thing too. It doesn't have to be always really technical. Just getting together and learning from each other is a great opportunity. So even if you just kind of organize something like that. Now some of the regional activities. So as I mentioned, ASHRAE has 15 regions around the world. This map is kind of hard to read even on my screen, but just kind of goes to show you how many chapters there are and how widespread they are. And now regional involvement. So Director, how many people here have been to a CRC? So there's still about a good half of you that haven't. Now, the CRC is a regional kind of annual organizing meeting. You train the new board members coming in. You have an awards presentation to thank all those that did the hard work the year before. You provide some technical sessions typically. You get a chance for like-minded, so membership promotion guys get together and they kind of chit-chat and say, hey, we have some, not only going to training, but here's the issues that we're having in our chapter, what's happening in your chapter. So it's kind of an organizational meeting as well for the following year. So and then typically once every rotation, about every 10 years or so, your chapter hosts that CRC. And I'm not sure when was the last time you guys hosted your CRC? 2012. So probably in about another 3 or 4 years, you're going to be doing it again. And I really encourage you to get involved at that time, get involved with volunteering to help out. You'll be able to get to meet some other people from around your region and from elsewhere as well, so beyond. So great opportunity to get involved. And in this case here, it's only for 2 or 3 days. You can put in a part of it or all of it, but it's one of the best opportunities to get involved. Now, the regions have, I'll call them RVCs, regional vice chairs, for all these different groups, and they provide the support for the chapters in their region. But they also provide support for they coordinate with an annual meeting as well, 2 annual meetings, one at the winter meeting, one at the summer meeting, to make sure that all these programs get put in place. And these are all volunteer positions. The ones in blue, for the most part, in the regional, these ones here are usually kind of nominated on or voted in. These ones here are, they don't have the formal selection process, but they are usually selected through some sort of, by selecting people, quality people. And the nominating committee at the regional level too, they provide the nominations for the RBCs here, comes out of the CRC, and they also provide names forward to sit on the ASHRAE board of directors. Now, so the CRC, as I already mentioned, you select, train, and mentor the ASHRAE future leaders, and helping them organize the CRC is probably one of the best ways to get involved with doing that. Who got involved with the last CRC? Did you get involved? Were you involved? Were you involved before, after, and before that? So that's a great way to get you to, it's a real good hook, isn't it?
Well, I did get involved. It was the CRC that brought me into that.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, so it's a great opportunity. And if you ever get the chance to go to the CRC, like don't, even though you're not going to be part of it, just kind of, zip in and kind of just see what's going on. We had the CRC in Calgary about 3 years ago. I chaired that, and what we did there is we put a yay weekend on in conjunction with that, and a student activities mini yay weekend. And we had, so instead of having the normal 75 people, we had like 150. And by getting all those extra young people in, added a lot of pizzazz and energy to the conference. But it also gave them an opportunity to see what the CRC was happening at the CRC, and the amount of people who got involved in the chapter after that was amazing. We actually paid for two members from every chapter to come send yay people to the CRC. It was really well rewarded. And sometimes I hear it says, well, that costs a lot of money. And I said, no, it wasn't a lot of money it cost. The cost was, I said, it was a good investment. So you can look at it as it's going to be lost, but it's not. It's usually an investment. When you've got the young people and you're investing in, and you're getting them to do, get involved. It's one of the best investments out there. Now, technical committees. Who here is a member of technical committees? I see a few hands up there. Another one over here. So I would challenge everyone here to go on their website tomorrow to look up how to join a technical committee. And there's 100 committees there. There's probably one that might pique your interest. And why not fill it out and become a member? You don't have to show up. You don't have to do anything, but they'll get you on the roster as a non-voting member, and they'll keep you abreast of everything that's going on. So TC 9.2, I'm a member of TC 9.2. And we have probably about 60 members, and we're everything from, well, in ours, because it's industrial and it's so broad, we've got everything from nuclear to power plants to oil and gas to data centers to all kinds of different topics. And it's really a big opportunity to get involved. And if you have a passion for something, even if you don't know anything about it, but you think, I want to learn more about combined heat and power units or district energy or whatever, get involved. You'll get the information so you meet people, and pretty soon you're going to be pretty smart. Just by through osmosis, hang around with people and everything else. And they usually meet at the winter and summer meetings, and they probably have some conference calls in between. So great opportunity to do that. So here's the. You can just jump on the internet and on the ASHRAE.org website and find it, but that's the actual link to it. So great opportunity. The other thing you can do when you're in technical committees, most of them review a lot of technical information that ASHRAE produces that relates to your technical committee. So when we look anything that has to do with industrial HVAC, our committee reviews it, and we kind of go from there. We have, I think, about 15 chapters in the application handbook that we review. And in some cases, if we think that we need a new topic, like we're going to put one on oil and gas in there, the next we'll write a whole new chapter. And at the same time, every 4 years, as the handbooks get rewritten, there's 4 of them, so every 4 years you get a new book. As you write those books, it takes a 4-year process. You're updating them as well, because a lot can happen in 4 years. In some of the areas, like data centers, I mean, I think there's stuff happening every 4 days. But obviously, data centers is almost an annual publication on data centers. So we're actually needs to. We can do things quicker, but we can also have things on a regular cycles. And then the technical committees also do a lot of other work because they're responsible for presenting programs at the ASHRAE meetings. Who here has presented at any of the ASHRAE conferences? 2. All right. Same thing. I mean, oh, sorry, I should put my hand up. Gerald probably has 2, but you should. Great opportunity to learn from others and improve your profile in the industry. Go out there, do a presentation on something that you know well and have a passion for. Great opportunity. So, and if you do go as a speaker, you go to the winter or summer meeting at a reduced rate. I think it's $100 instead of the regular $400 or $500, so there's some advantages to do that as well. So, and when you're there, go check out some other presentations as well. Really good opportunities. And then the other thing you can do is, if you don't want to do the presentations, how about review them? Okay? So I'll review anything on industrial, anyone on industrial ventilation or air conditioning or whatever your passion is. And they'll send them to you, and you can review them and kind of go from there. And the other thing too is the standards, right? Who writes those standards? And the standards, they're consensus standards. Does anybody know what consensus means? It means that the majority of the people involved have to agree. Okay? Well, I think there was the 189.1 standard that was written not too long ago, a few years back. And they sent it out for comments, and it had 85,000 commentors, not comments, commentors, that went through there and finalized it. So when a standard comes out of ASHRAE, it's been well vetted. I mean, you're not going to have 100% approval, but it's going to be pretty well in the high 90s for sure. So, but there's also on the ASHRAE website, you can, I've got it down here a little further. You can actually go there and you can comment on almost any document you want. Okay. So here's the technical committee's sections. So these are the sections. Okay. So the fundamentals and environmental quality, materials and processes, load calculations and energy requirements, ventilation and air distribution, heating equipment, heating and cooling system applications, building performance, air conditioning and refrigeration system components, building applications, and refrigerant systems. And in each one of those is probably about 10 to 15 other actual committees that are involved. So have a look at that and find one, and I really encourage you to get involved. And you don't have to, if you want to, you can really get involved with the meeting, with the committees, and get into all the meetings, attend all the meetings, and become a vice chair and treasurer and that type of thing. But if you just want to kind of keep abreast of what's happening in the industry and get updated on a regular basis, just become a corresponding member. Now, standards committee. Okay, they development and review and updating opportunities for here as well. As I mentioned, for the standards, volunteers can apply to develop and update standards. So the link's pretty small here. I can get these links to you, so you can send them out in your newsletter or something. But some really good opportunities to volunteer by commenting on any ASHRAE document. I remember when I was DRC about 6-7 years ago, ASHRAE needed a book reviewed quickly. So the Manitoba chapter said, "How about if all our members review it? Review it in 2 weeks." And that's what they did. They actually reviewed the book in 2 weeks, and it was published a month later. So if we need to, we actually can do things pretty quickly. And it was pretty well done as well. So there are some opportunities like that too, and maybe something like that with the Ottawa chapter. So ASHRAE has 130 active standards. Some of them are, I'll call it, they don't change very much from year to year, but other ones kind of get updated on a 3-year cycle. And we're actually one of the 6 standard development organizations accredited by ANSI. And as I mentioned before, it's a consensus basis. We'll have to get just about everybody on board in order for it to be approved. And all volunteer committees. And the mixture. It actually really tries to get a good mix of different parts of the industry involved in these documents and development. And we're usually pretty good at it. And some of the more well-known standards, and these are one of the ones here that kind of get updated every 3 years. So some of them you probably recognize. Thermal comforts, indoor air quality for residential buildings is a newer one. Standard for Legionella and risk management for building water systems. That's an important one. Talked to the people that were down in Flint, Michigan recently, about 2-3 years ago, where they had all the water issues. They're abiding by the standard 188. Sad part about that is the standard 188 has probably been up for about 30 years, but Flint could have probably used it 30 years ago, and other cities as well. Even New York had some issues here about 3 or 4 years ago. The hardest part of the standards are the standards. We write the standards, And the building codes refer to the standards, but the building codes always don't refer to the latest standards, and they don't always refer to all of the standards. They might pick and choose, but from our point of view, we try and develop the best standards out there, and we encourage, and we're working to get those, more and more of those adopted or approved by building codes. And last time I was here in Ottawa was with some of Daryl and a few other members of your chapter here, and we went actually to Parliament and talked to a lot of the MPs, trying to get them to learn more about ASHRAE and what we can provide them. So that's another opportunity as well, because that's an annual thing. So it's a great opportunity to get involved from and talk to the MPs, not just your MP, but a lot of other MPs from around the province. And you also get around the country, and you also see what each MP's passions are, because every MP is a little bit different, depending on what part of the country from or what their background is. They have a different, different take on things. And it maybe makes you understand us as Canadians a little bit better as well. Why we might think a little bit differently. It's a great opportunity. So the research committee, I won't get into this too much. We've already got a lot of money raised here tonight for research. ASHRAE does this better than almost anybody as far as doing research projects. Currently, we have over 800 projects on the go, and we have, wrong slide. We have about 100 projects on the go, and I think we've got about $15 million in research funds. Here we got $67.5 million conducted since 1960, and that's not in today's dollars. That's just the total value. So it's really a lot of money and a lot of good things going on. Research is driven by the technical committees and by our average ASHRAE members. We decide where do we need more research, what areas of our industry are lacking, how can we make it better, basically. So, and it allows for the development of technical information and to create standards and guidelines. Obviously, is a critical one. Publications. ASHRAE has a ton of publications, and we also have certification is a fairly new topic. How many people here are ASHRAE certified in any of that? We got one over there. So the idea of the certification is to make it more. If I'm ASHRAE certified for indoor air quality or something like that, then I can. Doesn't matter where I go in the world, I have that same certification as anybody else taking that same course. So that's something we're looking at doing, getting more involved with. Someone has to develop that material. Someone else has to present that material. So as a volunteer, you're welcome to get involved and do that. Some of your expenses are paid as well, and you also become an expert in that area. And here's publications also looks after electronic communications. Handbooks, historical committee. ASHRAE is going to be 125 in 2020, and the summer meeting is actually going to be in Toronto for that. We're going to be celebrating that, so it's going to be a pretty big year. 125 years that we've been around, so lots of opportunities. So the ASHRAE Journal, read an article. I mean, I don't know about you, but I usually read it every month, or most of it. And what's wrong with writing one? And the other thing too, with the history side of it, I think this is going to be a special history book. If someone here has some great memories or some great articles or information that they want to think it should be, would be great to put forward as a history item. Don't be afraid to write a little article, and maybe it'll get printed in. If it doesn't get printed in the ASHRAE Journal, probably an extra publication out there that's going to be developed as well. So. The High Performance Building Magazine. How many guys here kind of read that? It's a pretty good magazine. Great one. If you haven't seen it, it's a great one too. It comes out annually or weekly, monthly. Sorry, try that again. They're always looking for new projects and information and articles to that as well. Conference expositions, CEC opportunities. So that's Conference Expositions Committee. So. ASHRAE puts on 2 major conferences every year, summer and winter. How many go? Okay. How many go? Don't go because they can't afford it. Okay. How many would go if they got the way paid? Anyway, if you count on a CEC committee, right? You help work it. You're pretty well paid to go. So great opportunity if you want to make it to the winter summer meeting, but you can't make it, get involved with the CEC committee. They also have a lot of other smaller conferences, specialty type conferences as well. I got a list further down, and they always need help as well. It's like my whole climate design guy, or design conference as well. So, but they also, there again too, they need the session monitors to monitor people that are coming in and out of the sessions. They need paper session reviewers, and obviously they need presenters and speakers. And presenters and speakers get a discount as well. So here's a list of some of the conferences coming up. We got the winter one in Atlanta, next summer's in Kansas City, and there's 3 or 4 specialty conferences here that we got listed as well. So some of them are in North America, and one in Lebanon. It's usually 1 or 2 international ones, so a great opportunity to get some training and maybe see each other in the world. So certification, I learned government and education. ASHRAE has some phenomenal ALI courses, and we're always looking for good instructors. And people to maybe develop the material, and update the material, make it a little bit more relevant to current information, and that type of thing as well. So some great opportunities to get involved with that. And here's some of the Learning Institute courses that are out there. Good variety. Commissioning obviously is always an important one. It's something that's very, very lacking. And probably if you're really good commissioning individual, that'd be a great opportunity to get more involved from that side of it as well, because there's not enough great information in that end of it. And here's some of the certification that are there. So operation and performance, building energy modeling, high performance building design. So these are some of the certifications that are out there, and more and more so are being developed. And there again too, we also need people to provide those the courses and the training for them. So mentoring and teaching opportunities, scholarships is for students. There's lots of great opportunities, 320 scholarships, and you guys have one more, so that's 321. Great. There's also design competition. Have you guys had any of your university programs get involved in design competition? Yeah. That's great. Yeah, that's a really good program. And now that it's going more, they're more global. They're trying to have one so that everybody in the world can actually participate. So that's great. Solar decathlon. I'm not sure if you guys have had any input into that yet. Might be something that's a major entity, that one. But it's still pretty good. So, and obviously the young engineers in ASHRAE, I encourage you, if you're a young engineer and you haven't been to a weekend, I really encourage you to go. There's a chapter about a couple of those, right? But I mean, as an employer, send your young engineers. It's like $300 for the weekend. I mean, you got to get them there, whatever. But it's a great opportunity, and the skills that they learn, and the skills they're more of the skills that they learn are more soft skills and networking and that type of thing, and leadership skills. But it's a great opportunity to provide them with some skills for very few dollars. Great opportunity to invest in your employees. Nominations. So let's go back. Not working. All right. So anyways, nominations, there's all kinds of committees on the board that are tied into the board. I'll have that picture up here again. And two days to remember. One is September 15th, which was just last week, and February 15th. So if you want to get involved with some other board elected positions, you have to have them by September 15th. And for board appointed positions, February 15th. And the board appointed positions, you don't really have to have, you can, if you have a passion and the skill, then you can probably get involved in a lot of different committees. And some of the committees you get involved with is, as I mentioned here, certification, handbook, and historical, and professional development, that kind of thing, some of the publications. And just to kind of wrap up, become a future leader in ASHRAE and write your next chapter in your career. Get involved, volunteer. No matter how big, how small, if you start small, you might find another little list that turns on that passion button, and it'll take you in a different direction. And I know my directions in ASHRAE have gone quite a very no direct line, but I really enjoyed it. And I always find that I end up being in a place where I can do the most good. It just seems to drag you to an area where you need it. Just like some of the people here I've already talked to with membership and research and stuff like that. So it allows you to improve your skills and get you doing things out of your comfort zone, and you become a way better individual and a very much smarter engineer and society member. Anyways, thank you for your time. I could have. This is a tough topic sometimes because there's so much that you can't get involved with. Hopefully, you just take one or two of these ideas, maybe just investigate it. One I really think you should do is become a TC member. Really easy to do. Just go online. It takes about 2 minutes to get involved. So. Anyways, thank you for your time. Do we have any questions or comments? Yes.
I know you said you're going to give us some of the links and we can maybe send it out in the newsletter, but I think maybe some of us would appreciate having the whole presentation. There was a ton of information in here.
Yeah, it was, I can do that for sure. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah. Great. Okay, well, nothing else. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
How did you get your background with ASHRAE?
So, got out of high school, family of 9, youngest of 9, no money for education beyond high school. So I got a job working construction, and we were actually replacing the air conditioning on the Hudson Bay building in downtown Canada. And my brother, who happened to be the superintendent of the company, said to my foreman, make sure that Eric gets all the crap jobs so he goes back to school. When I started talking to the refrigeration guys and the guys that were doing the design on the engineering side of things, once a week a guy come by all dressed up real nice, he's got a suit on and stuff, and he started talking about this and that. And I said, who's that? He's the engineer. Oh, okay. So anyway, so when I went back to school, I got back in. That's how I got back into it. So I wasn't really anything I had planned to become, but I got involved and it worked out right now. Pretty successful. My first project for as a student, I built three of us built a solar house. It was only about as big as this table. That was back in 1974 during the original energy crisis. So there was actually we made it work. It wasn't anything too fancy, but for 4 guys and a case of beer, we did a pretty good job. It kind of got me going into the industry. And my career has taken a lot of different paths. And in my, I just want to give you a quick thing on this Chelonian group. So I did a lot of industrial HVAC. And I happened to work for a large energy company. And one of the loss prevention engineers comes to me and says, we need you in our group. And I said, well, what do you guys do? Well, we're insurance. We look after the insurance for the company, and we keep things from bad things from happening. I said, well, why do you need me? Well, you look after all the hazardous locations. We have a lot of hazardous locations. You keep things prevent things from blowing up, right? And we don't like things from blowing up, and our insurance companies don't like it from blowing up. So they put me into the risk management group, which and that was one of the first groups to ever have anybody, any kind of my background in that industry. And that Chelonian thing that was in the bottom of my resume there. So what happened was that the way the insurance industry used to be is like ASHRAE's collaboration. We talk about anything and everything, and we work with everybody. The way they used to say is that, oh, there was an explosion over there. It was. That's what happened, right? They don't tell you. I said, this is stupid. I said, we got to learn from each other. We got to start, I'm saying, what caused that? Because this property over here, or this power plant, or whatever I'm insuring, right? Sure, it's yours now, but when the underwriters come in and give you a stupid rate to get your insurance to go over to them, right? That's my problem. I got to look after it, keep it from blowing up, right? So I started doing this tech session once a year, and we just do the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, what happened this year? What should we learn? What should we learn? What should we change, and how should we make things better? And one of the things that I was involved with, when I was with them, is we took a company that had I think I told someone earlier today, but we took a company that had a $3 million deductible. And what we did, we took to a $100 deductible for their insurance. But what we did is, the money we saved in premiums, we did it over a 5-year period. The money we saved in premiums, we put back into the facilities, made them safer, right? And took all the learnings that we had, or a lot of the learnings that we had, and we implemented them. And we had a $100 million deductible for the longest time. So, because of that. So you never know where in this industry where you're going to end up, right? You get involved in all kinds of different things, but I'm still the HVAC specialist. But because I was looking after all the mechanical stuff, I also have to look after all the corporate vehicles. So when the president's wife drove the Porsche to the garage door, this would have to look at. So
That's a corporate vehicle?
that's a corporate vehicle, yeah. But anyway, but you know, so you do take sidebars, but you also learn a lot of good things as well along the way. But for sure, I mean, you know, find a passion in the industry, find a passion in ASHRAE, and it really makes your career a lot more enjoyable. And the people that you meet, like, you know, the people I've met, you know, it's just been phenomenal. You know, ASHRAE people are really great people. So, and typically, if everybody's in ASHRAE on a regular basis, they have a similar passion. Maybe not the same passion, but it's a similar passion. So you know it's going to be great people. And the collaboration is unbelievable. You know, people helping people. You know, if you need a hand, someone will help you out for sure. I've had clients come up to me and said, Derek, I need to know more about this, that, or the other thing. And I say to him, I said, well, I don't know anything about that, but you call this guy. Tell my call. You go, holy crap, I didn't know that guy wrote 3 books about the topic, or 5 articles in one of the magazines, or wrote the chapter on that type of thing, right? But and if they know you're an ASHRAE member, then they'll go backwards to help. And vice versa, if you ever need anything, especially on the industrial side, if you need to know something, give me a shout. I might be able to help you, but I know a lot of people that can't. And that's the big thing from ASHRAE, is the network. So now you have an industrial HVAC contact. Nothing else to speak out of this. But thank you again. I really appreciate your hospitality and good luck in your future endeavors. I hope to see you at more ASHRAE functions around the world. Take care.
Thank you very much, Eric. I mean, it's fascinating to see the breadth of what is ASHRAE and the opportunity for people to get involved at whatever level they really want to sink their teeth into and make it their own and run with it. So thank you very much for that. We really appreciate you being here. And we do have a token of our appreciation that we would like to present you with.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you.
Appreciate that.
Now, for those of you with smartphones, you may have felt your hip buzz about 2 minutes ago. Everybody will receive a reminder, a link to the survey. Please take the time to fill out that survey. That is the feedback mechanism that we use at the chapter level to determine what you got out of this program, to see if there's things that we maybe should have done differently. That is also something that, as Eric, being part of the Distinguished Lecturer Program, it is used to evaluate that. So this is your chance to provide your feedback to that program as well. The next meeting will be October the 16th. We'll be back at the Centurion Center. I hope to see you all there. And otherwise, have a good night. Thank you very much, everyone.